We are live.
Session started.
All right. Morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good day, and one day to go. We're up Thursday, almost lunchtime. Hope you're having a good day, guys, and thanks for taking the time to jump on. We'll get going in a few minutes. I'm joined today with a lot of people from Martian Logic, probably about 7-8 people in total, because we're all really keen to get feedback for about the new changes, significant changes that we made to the remuneration in general, how to capture the remuneration, about your positions, and how to get that REM data to flow all the way through the recruitment process or the change of conditions process. Fantastic. So I'm joined with, in the room here, I've got Jesse, Joe, and Eddie. And I've got 5 people online as well, the senior developers and a couple of senior product managers as well. And we've already got a few clients on the call. Welcome, guys, and thanks for joining, taking the time. Very good. We'll get going in a couple of minutes. Got an agenda here, which is, as you can understand, as per the invite, how to capture your award or enterprise agreements, or even if it's a private banding system, how to capture that in the platform first, and then how to link your unique positions from the position library into those various remuneration agreements, such as an award or an enterprise agreement. And then once you've got that all tidied up, your unique positions are linked to the correct remuneration structures, then how that will flow through the request to hire process, whether it's the manager or HR initiating that. It's going to make it so much intuitive and easy and quick to understand, and for even the approvers of the request to hire to be able to understand what they are approving. And the same thing with the change of condition form as well. We're doing exactly the same presentation layer, if you like, how we present that information on the rec form. It's presented in the same way on the change of condition form. That's it. That's what we will be talking about. And finally, once we've done that, we go into the offer phase as well, and understand how you can then finalize that, and how all that information will flow into the contract. So that's what we will be going through, pretty much an end-to-end flow, if you like, from the org chart all the way to the contract, how that remuneration data will flow all the way through, and how it's all stored in a single source of truth, those rates and salaries and stuff, and how they are pulled from that same spot, from that same storage into across all the various assets throughout the flow. Beautiful.
And as well, sorry, just before we start, we've also got a bit of a poll, an icebreaker for today. So just around what viewing you use on your phone, so your light or dark modes. If you guys haven't answered, we'd like to find out a little bit about you guys.
Definitely light for me. Oh my God.
Light as well.
That dark thing, whoever invented it. Oh my God.
I like the dark mode.
I mean, I was going to say whoever invented it from a different planet, but then again, being a Martian, probably shouldn't. I can't be critical about that.
Can't discriminate.
That's right. Goodness me. All right. So welcome to the webinar, everyone. If you've just joined, we'll just wait for another couple of minutes. A few people just joined in the last literally 10 seconds or so. So I'm assuming a few more people will still jump on. And what we're going to do, you can see the agenda here. We're going to go through a very relaxed kind of flow, a proper demo from the very beginning of how you configure your awards or enterprise agreement or a band system, how you capture the information, and then how you link your positions to say this position, the RAM for this position comes from this agreement, from this job family, from these levels, how you connect them, and then how then what that means once you've done that, what that means for the person, in particular for the managers, because we want to make sure it's very simple for them. I mean, of course, it's good for HR to be simple, but I guess HR people know what they're doing. The managers can get confused and basically say, this is too hard for me, just do it for me. And then we go back to how we started with the bottleneck all at HR, having to do everything. So that was really the motivation behind this project for the adoption by the managers. Very good. I think we need to get started now. Got 34 people. There's about 6 people or 7 people probably from Martian Logic. Got a couple of product managers and senior developers, and Jesse from accounts and account management, and Joe from sales, and Eddie from marketing. Thank you guys for helping out, and I think we should get going. All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen. And we will start with the entire screen. Okay, there you go. Cool. Should be able to see my screen now. Jump to the platform. And by the way, I should note one thing. As you can see, the URL in here is stage.dot. So this is staging, which is sort of test environment. When we develop the product, we start with the testing environment, then staging environment, then the production environment. So I might have mentioned to a few of you guys throughout the conversations with you in the last couple of weeks that this was going to be live last night. It was delayed. We still feel it needs a bit more work, just to final touches. And we're very confident that we'll be live tonight. We're going to do the final release into production tonight. So we're running from stages. So what I'm seeing here, I mean, this is the same, hasn't changed this page, but you will see some things that it doesn't look the same in your account. They will be pretty much the same overnight. So I'm going to start from scratch. Here's my agreements page. Guys, can I get an indication about who hasn't in their account, just how many people, if you can just reply and say, I haven't, or we're not using it, something like that. I want to get an idea about who on the call that is not using at the moment the remuneration. You're not capturing your agreements in here or awards and things like that.
I have that as a poll.
Oh, when is that?
Perfect. Right now.
Yep.
Oh, right now? Perfect. So maybe just use the poll then. Thanks, Eddie. Just to give me an idea what I need to emphasize on and how much I need to slow down, and that would be great. What are we finding, Eddie?
39% say yes, 63% say no.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to slow down then and do step by step. We've got plenty of time anyway. It's not a huge flow. We can cover it very much in details. Okay. So this is the agreements page. I've got already an award. I've captured the Shads awards for this demo, but to start let's say you want to enter your award in here, you click on add an agreement. We use the word agreement as a generic because it could be an enterprise agreement, it could be award, it could be a band system, it could be anything. So I'm going to type in here my award webinar 7th December 2023. Create it. And it should be right at the bottom here. And then just going to move the thing. And then once the award's created, then you click on these 3 dots in here to add what we call one or more job families. So I'm going to enter my first job family. This could be, for example, your support worker, which is the example that I'm using in my thing. Again, this is very generic as well. It's asking me how many for full-time hours. number of weeks for full-time hours, which is 52 weeks in a year. And this is all changing overnight. As I said, some of that language might be changing. Weeks is 4 weeks holidays for full-time hours per week. If you can choose to enter that per fortnight or per week, so I can put in here 38 hours per week. I want to enter the data based on both rates and salary, or I just want to enter the rates because maybe I only hire casuals, or we only pay in terms of indicate the pay based on rates, so I don't need to enter the salaries. So you've got the options. I'll keep it at both. And is it at the pay points? These are exact pay points, $35, $40, etc., or is it a band where it's a min and max? So pay points in this case, add one, I'm going to call it level 1, $30 an hour. The casual is 35, 36, and salary is 60,000. Add another point, level 2, 35, 40, and 67,500. Any questions about this, guys? And I'll save it. So it's right here now. When I open it, click there. I can see there's only one drop family. It's got only 2 levels, and that's how you build it. And so this is what I've built here for the shads. So what we'll do, we'll work now with the shads, but I've showed you how to do it. In the future, if there was any change, you want to apply a 2% increase or anything like that, you click on this here, and we have a bulk update. You can say, just want to increase it by 2%, and you go next, just to confirm, update, and I've increased all my rates by 2%. So we've built those kind of, and we will do more and more tools to help you to manage that and maintain it over time in a very effective way. Do we have any questions about the agreement page? Maybe one thing I should also say from the banding system as opposed to pay points, if I was to add maybe another, another job family, I'm going to call it here, say, I don't know, HR roles. And in here, maybe we're going to create 5 different bands. And so 38 hours per week. And what we're going to do, we're going to do it as a band. So we're going to add in here maybe graduate. We're going to call it, so B1 for graduates, I don't know, something like that. And then we're going to enter in here the hourly rate, 35 to 40. Forgive me about the actual numbers, guys, whether they're low or high or not, right? Just not getting this one, not researched it prior to this, just doing it on the fly. The casual, say we go 42 to 55, and salary is 60, 55 to 65. That's for the grad. Tolerance is 20%, meaning we're allowed to go above these bands, these min and max, by 20%. If you go over 20%, we're able to then create different workflows and approvals and stuff like that. So it's something we want to build on going forward to allow you to have those kind of mechanisms. And then you can add another band for junior, for mid-level, for senior, etc. So that's what really a band is, but as opposed to a pay point. It becomes min and max as opposed to an exact pay point. Does that make sense, guys? So that pretty much concludes that part of the demo, that first part, which is how to capture your agreements. An agreement, as I said, is a generic word that we use, enterprise agreement, whatever it might be, awards, etc., etc. Any questions on this part so far?
Not so far.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, great. So I'll save this one. So now as I said, we'll work with this one for the purpose of the demo, although I've showed you how to create it from scratch, but we will work with this one just because it's got more levels in here. This particular award here, the Shads Award. So now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go to positions and create a unique position. I've got here a few support workers. I'm just going to delete them and do one from scratch. together. Okay, so we're going to create a unique position for a support worker. You might want to split the support worker into a few different roles. For example, you could decide to say grad support worker or just one support worker. I'll explain what I mean by that. So I'm going to do grad support worker, and then also I will do, a support worker, and then I'll do senior support worker, and you'll see what I mean. So in the engagement then, what you can do, pre-configure link, in other words, that the remuneration information that you captured within the agreements. So that's your database of all the pay data, the agreements. You want to link your positions into that for a single source of truth. So therefore, the numbers are only captured and edited in one place. So we come to the position itself, we go to the engagement section, we click on engagement type. Is it an employee? Is it a volunteer? Is it an external worker? We say it's an employee. Do you want to enter the data in here on the go, or you want to link it from predefined pay data, and we choose the agreements. It's the shads, the job family, the support worker, and which levels. This is the reason I wanted to show you this. So because we decided to have maybe 3 support workers as opposed to just to 1, for the grad, then maybe you'll tick only those 2 levels, right? If you have a senior one, support worker, then you maybe tick those 3 levels, 4, 5, and 6. Or you could just decide to have 1 support worker and click all of them. Really what we are saying here is when we're hiring for a support worker, it could be either of these levels, and it depends on what the manager is looking for. And when we are actually start to interview and we want to make offers, we will then decide, okay, we negotiate that particular level, and we can even, as you'll see later, negotiate to even override the level and pay them even above the award to compete and get the person because you want them. And all that will be possible. But at this point here, all you're saying is this is the award that we need to adhere to from the compliance point of view and the guidance that we have. So you're just connecting the position with the pay data.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. So for the purpose of getting the point across, we're just going to, as I said, we said it's a grad, and we're just going to link those levels. So then all you have to do here is say which employment type for a grad support worker in our company, in our organization, do we hire them on a fixed term, meaning contract basis, or is it just permanent part-time and casual? Is it full-time, part-time and casual? Which one is it? So I'm going to choose the full-time. And it's a little bit slow, and click on save, and also the part-time, it's just lagging a little bit. And this allows me here to enter a guidance from the part-time point of view. Look, we prefer to be 0.6, 3 days a week, but clearly that can be finalized during the offer. The manager or yourselves can finalize clearly what was negotiated with the candidate, and it can be entered based on either FTE or even hours per week. So hours per period, in this case, it's weekly. So then I'll say, okay, it's 20 hours per week, which is about just over 2 days, I guess, if it's 38 hours a week. And then we convert it for you in terms of exactly what it means for FTE, all that will be there. So I've provided the guidance to the managers, but all of that can be overridden. If the managers, when they are submitting the requisition, they say, oh, look, I want to hire a casual, and you didn't happen to set up or pre-configure the casual here for whatever reason, this is not going to stop them. We keep it fluid, but that means what you're doing is providing the guidance, and you'll see that in a minute what that means. So that's all we have to do at this point. And you can attach a job description, by the way, here, which is we definitely advise, because that can be passed to the managers, will see it, and the approvers will see it, but also you can automatically stream it to the application form for the candidates to be able to download it as well if you need to. So that's where you would do it from. Nevertheless, that's all we're going to do as far as the position. So this is how you create and pre-configure your unique position library. So for an organization, let's say in NDIS or aged care organization or a school, please forgive me if I'm getting this one so wrong, but I would estimate that maybe 80% of all the hiring is probably around maybe 10, 15 positions. And then you've got another probably 20, 30, 40, 50, that 20%. So if you can just initially worry about those 15 positions or 20 positions, for example, in an NDIS business, the support worker roles and the registered nurses, etc., where the majority of the workforce is, it goes a long way when 80% all that is really, really tidied up. So, and it's very fluid. You will see that at no point in everything I'm showing you, it's you have to do it this way or that way. All you're doing is you're pre-configuring and making things simpler, but we will not going to stop the process. There's always a way to keep going. It's very, very flexible. Okay, so what does that mean? What did we just do? We set up some agreement data. We came back to the positions. We created a position that is one of these positions that we recruit for all the time. And we linked the pay data, the remuneration for that position into the agreement data that we captured. Now we want to go ahead and now emulate a manager is trying to submit a request to hire for a graduate support worker. We're going to start from the org chart, but if you're not using the org chart, it makes no difference. You'll see the two merge in exactly at the requisition form. The two will merge exactly in the same way. So all you do is when you start from your org chart, you're starting with more predefined data. We know which position, we know who it reports to, etc. But you can do all that from the rec form as well. So there's no difference. I'm just going to do it from here. For some of you who haven't seen the org chart, I'll get the opportunity to also show you the org chart at the same time. But I'll point out when we get to the rec form that it's exactly the same to you if you're not using the org chart. So what we're going to do to make this easier, I'm going to create a node with this particular position here. Sorry, add a node here. I'm going to do it this way. So the grad support worker, I'm just going to create a node with that position. Here you go. It's a little slower on staging. I'm not really sure about staging server. Nevertheless, is it called a grad? Yeah, here you go. So we've got a node here, vacant position, which is a grad support worker, and I'm going to begin to recruit for it. I'm going to click on this, and it's going to show me that there's only one request to hire workflow, so it's pre-selected already. I'm going to continue, and here's the request to hire form. This is exactly the same, guys, had you gone to jobs and a new job and select the request to hire. It's exactly the same. So what it meant here is because we've selected the grad support worker, and I'll show you. So if I select a different, say, developer, it's not going to, it's going to be different. It's going to say, okay, for the engagement, start from scratch. But I'll go back and do the grad support worker just for that to, for you to understand what actually happened. Because I've selected this, it's recognized that some pre-configuration already had taken place. So it says pre-configured remuneration against this position is detected, and it's asking the manager or whoever submitting this form, would you like to use the pre-configured remuneration information? And all they have to say is yes or no, I'll configure it myself. So if they say yes, then we say, okay, that's great, but which employment type? I'm sorry, the employees, the employment type is here. And you can see we're only showing them because they opted to go with the pre-configured information, remuneration information. We're only showing them what was pre-configured for them. Only the permanent part-time and the full-time, if you remember, were pre-configured. So we're only showing them those. If they go and say, no, I'll configure it myself, they'll be able to do any employment type, but they will have to enter all that data themselves. Although I'll show you what that means to enter it themselves, they can still link it directly from the agreements. So let's have a look. If they said no, then we say, okay, is it an employee? Yes, it's an employee. Then we say what employment type? Sorry, in here. The first question, once they said it's an employee, we go, okay, do you want to link the remuneration information from the agreement library or remuneration library, or do you want to enter it manually, meaning just min and max? If they say yes, then they can actually select which employment type, and then they can then find the go into the remuneration here and do all this. But we'll come back to that. Let's now go and start again and show you why you've gone and put all the effort into the pre-configuration of the RAM. So we'll go back to the how it usually should work 99% of the time. So change the developer, and I'm going to go back now to the grad support worker. So this is the 99% of the experience, how it should flow for a manager. They select the role, and it says, oh, this pre-configuration remuneration was pre-configured for you. They go yes. And all they have to do pretty much here is to select the employment type. I'm going to choose the part-time. And then it's going to show them all the information that you pre-configured for them right there. Oh, there's a little bug in here. As I mentioned, we're still working on it. You can see too many decimal places, so it just changed, it killed all the formatting. So nevertheless, that's all the information you pre-configured for them. It's 38 hours a week. The standard ratio is 20 hours per week, therefore it's 0.53 FTE. Job family, it's the SHADS award, and the support work is a job family, and these are the levels that are relevant for this particular position. And there's also miscellaneous information in here, 52 hours per week, etc. Now, interesting thing here, for the schools, I know there's a few schools on the call. The smarts that we did for you guys about whether this is a term only position or is it a whole year position, this is where you do it from in here. You click on advance and you say this is a 42 maybe, or 40 hours, 40 week in a year. And if there's any extra working weeks as well, you can type it in here, and then leave without pay. If there's any, you can type it in there, and we calculate everything for you. Sorry, where's that section here under miscellaneous? It's all there. So the paid holidays is 4 as well. I'm zooming on the browser for you guys to see it properly. So when I'm saving something, jumping around a little, I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to close it and go back to the top just to make sure we're all on the same page. This is what we've done. We just shows that, yep, I would like to work with what was pre-configured for me. I've selected a permanent part-time, and it's all come up like that. I can now go in here and say, no, actually, this is only 2 days a week, and change this to be as FTE, and put in here to be 0.4. It's 2 days a week, and that's it. That's pretty much all that had to be done, just to put the desired part-time period. They shouldn't have to do anything as a manager. Everything should be pre-configured. Can I take some questions on that, guys?
Nothing yet.
Any questions at all? No? Okay. So as I mentioned before, we don't stop anybody from being able to do different things. So whether you've configured all your positions or not, you don't have to go in one go. Every single position has to be pre-configured. You can just pre-configure your, as I said, the top 5 or 10 positions where most of the hiring is coming from, and everything else for other positions, people can just do them on the fly. So all the options are there. I want to configure it myself. And if they say I want to pre-configure myself, then we go, okay, is it an employee? And then they can even say, look, I don't want to even use the agreement library. I'll enter it manually. Then we go, okay, select the employment type, and then provide the min and max. That's simple as that. When you go in here in the RAM, all they have to do is provide the min and max. So this 38 hours per week, that should have been pre-populated already. Nevertheless, it's just the min and max in here. So I can put in here 102,000 to 130,000 as the max. That becomes very, very simple. That's all they need to worry about. If they don't want to, if it's not coming from agreements, enterprise agreements or anything. So all the options are all still there. From the manager point of view, we're just starting with this information in here and just one layer at a time, and it's all there.
Awesome. We've got some good feedback as well. We've got Bridget from IPC Health saying she loves it. She's going to share the recording with her team. And we've also got Emily saying she has been underutilizing this bit of Martian. So it's very useful to her.
Awesome. This is exactly what this webinar is all about, guys. And as I put this in writing in the invite, this is a free upgrade. Even if you're just using recruitment, which is pretty much amongst our corporate clients, we probably have one or two that only use recruitment. Everybody uses recruitment and onboarding and the request to hire and all that, let alone, the change of conditions and the employee life cycle, the core HR, etc. So even the lowest, if you like, plans, which is just the recruitment, this is still available for you as part of the whole recruitment flow at free upgrade.
So we have a question from Emily.
Mm-hmm.
She's asking, is there a way to do a mass import on job families, or do we have to manually update each one?
We can import it. We're definitely going to be developing import tools. We haven't done it yet because we're still a little bit fluid, adding more things and stuff. For example, one of the things we want to do right now, next on the those job families and rates, is to allow you to enter your own columns, to customize your own columns beyond those standard stuff, which is a standard rate, casual rate, and salary. You might want to put in there, I don't know, the Saturday afternoon rate, the Christmas rate, etc. You can go crazy, add your own column, custom column, call it whatever you want to call it, and enter the data there. And so because it's still a little bit fluid, we haven't done the import, but you'll find it really isn't a lot of work. It's probably really 2-3 hours of work, and you can just enter the pay data that's required for, as I said, for 80% of the roles. But your point is very, very valid. We will do it probably next year. I would say by April, May, June, it should be there.
We've also got some other questions.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Kate asking, does this information come through on an export, or are we able to search for all casuals, etc.?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. I'm sorry. Export or search. A little bit more background, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'll do another question. Maybe Kate, if you could clarify.
Maybe if they want to raise their hand, can't we just give them the microphone to speak if it's easier? Oh, we can't do it in this technology.
Only presenters can talk.
Oh, okay, that's a bit harsh. Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
If you could provide some clarification, we can definitely come back to it. We've also got Becky. So she's saying, when an annual salary increase occurs, can you update them in bulk, or can it be done, or does it have to be done?
I think you might have joined a little bit late.
She probably.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great question. I've covered it before. So as part of the in the agreements here, part of the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance. So if you go to this job family here, you can change all of them in bulk. You just have to put the percentage in there, 3%, and next we confirm that you want to do that, and we update them.
Beautiful. Rachel's asking, how is the final REM selected? In this example, there are 2 levels with different pay rates.
Perfect. So this is what we're going to be doing next. You do that during the offer. So let's go ahead now, go back into the form and submit it. We may as well do that. But let's make sure it's based on the level. So I'll do it again, and I'll say yes, and I'll submit the form, and then we will go into answering your question. Sorry, who was it?
It was Rachel from.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel, that's what we're going to be doing next. So let me just select that quickly and submit this form now that we're all happy with this part. Now, sorry, I wanted to do part-time. I'll do it again. It's very slow, the server and staging. Sorry, guys, it's taking a bit longer. All right, so what I wanted to do is enter that it's 2 days a week as well. So 0.4. Okay, And you are correct. There's 2 levels in here, or could be 10 or 20 levels for this matter. And the start date, I'm going to choose yesterday as the start date. I'll explain later why, because I want to make sure it's effective once we've completed the onboarding pack, so I can then do a change of condition on that, because otherwise it won't let me do it if it's in the future. You can't do change of condition until the onboarding has actually taken place, this effective date. So I'm just cheating a little bit. Ignore that part for a bit. Pretend you didn't see it. Okay, we're going to submit the form. And we're going to approve it because of this. I've selected myself as the approver. I'm going to approve it from within the system as opposed to from the email. So I'm going to do that quickly. You guys have seen that, you can imagine, or maybe some of you haven't, guys. I'm sorry if I'm going quickly on that part, but you get the managers will get a link. They can approve it from their phone. Even it works responsive on any device once they click on the link and approve it quickly. But because I've selected myself and I'm logged on, I'm able to do it from the system. Now, the last part, for some of you who haven't used that part, but I'm sure 90% of you on this call know this, the HR team or person that was assigned to be the person that will be resourcing, looking after this, will have the ability to complete the approval now that all the approvers have approved it. And that will unlock all the recruitment tabs, the design and posting of the candidates. I'm not going to worry about these tabs at all. I want to go straight to the offer. So I'm going to pretend we've done all this, and I'm going to go to my talent pools and link a bunch of good potentials and call them, email them, SMS them, start to do the recruitment. So I'm going to add manually a candidate and pretend that was part of the talent pools or they just applied. Put in here December 7th, 003. Okay, so this is a candidate that we've been shortlisting, we've been talking to, etc. So that's now a week gone by, and we want to make them an offer. So we moved them to a stage called finalize offer. And that's where you capture the offer, whether you're with them on the phone or you just got off the phone or however it is, you're now ready to capture what you've negotiated with the candidate. And this is where you finalize the offer. As you can see there, we say to you, there's something mandatory on here that you have to do. The button is very bright red. I love that color, by the way. And it says selected level is mandatory and it's not provided yet. So you click on that, and that's where you select the level here. So I'm going to select level 2. On top of that, I'm going to override that. So the rate here, as you can see, is 29 and 33. I want to override it, and I want to input the final level as a salary or a rate. It tells me, gives me the options. I'm going to do it as a salary. So instead of 57,783, I'm going to do 63,500. And I'm going to save it. And now it's all good. It shows me sorry, I'm going to zoom on this a little bit. Shows me the level that was selected. Again, there's a formatting issue here, guys. Too many decimal places, push things around too much. But that's why we're still in staging. That's why I've got 5 people working on it still. But it tells me also that the original salary was adjusted to 63,500. So that was the salary, the original one, as it's coming directly from the agreement database from your award, 57,783, and we overrode it to 63,500. Is that clear, guys? Does that answer your question now? We are at the offer phase, because this is now from here, you can have this offer approved by someone or continue approve it manually yourself and then go to onboarding. And this is what you want to flow into your contract, the final salary, the 63,500.
Kate's also come back to us just with a bit more clarification on her
Uh-huh.
question earlier.
Uh-huh.
So she's saying once we've set the REM information for all our current employees, it would be great to search through current employees and differentiate who is casual and who is permanent via an export. Hope that makes sense.
Okay. So that's a very good point.
I guess in essence she's asking if that's possible, and if not, it would be great.
No. Of course. See, I just want to. If I lose this, do I need to maybe approve this while we're here? Just give us 1 second. Was Kate? Was it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Kate, just give me 1 minute if you don't mind. So can we just, while we're on this offer phase, the offer form thing where we're finalizing the offer, do we have any questions here, guys? Take your time. In particular, the fact that you can write a justification report, and the fact that you can submit it manually, or you can send it for someone to approve it for you, someone's. This workflow here can be adjusted. I mean, we have an organization which is significant, 800 employees, and the CEO still has to approve every single hire.
Yeah.
They want to see the person's resume, what they answered in the screening questions, the reference check stuff, and they want to see the final offer. So you can do that. Are you guys familiar with what that does? It's really interesting. When you send that for someone to approve it, we show them all the information of 3 dimensions: the initial requisition that was signed off on, and the offer that you want to make against the rec, meaning in this case, as you can see, we're paying over the award, as well as about the person, all kind of things about the person. You can decide in here. See, by default, resume, cover letter, screen questions. You can share reference checks. You can share more stuff with them. So they get everything all in one interactive page. No attachments and emails and stuff. They can just click through on the areas they want to understand, different aspect of this candidate, of the offer, etc. And they go, yes, I approve it. But certainly, if it's not something that you need to do, you can just submit it without approval. And if you remember that 20% tolerance I talked about, because we can already do, and we want to do more and more smarts. For example, typically how it works is when you go above certain level or above the awards, you need to have this approved, and we can automate that if that's required, as opposed to keep it fluid. So it's very, very flexible.
We have a question, I believe, that would relate to this kind of area.
Yeah.
From Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
So Samantha's asking, if we override a salary, will it be affected when we do a bulk update pay increase for that agreement?
Oh, when you're overriding the agreements, you're not really changing anything against the employees. This is a data just to start with. So the next time you're recruiting, you go to that rec form or a change of condition form, it's going to show you what you've just updated in terms of what's possible. But we're not touching anything that's already employees are on. If that's the kind of change you want, that would be more of a bulk change of condition based on levels. So if you're keeping employees adhering to levels, and then you update the level, I don't know if we can do it right now, but definitely that's something in the future we can do it. But that maybe you can use the bulk onboarding that we already have, the bulk packs, to do that. But I'm not really sure if we can. But this is definitely what I showed you before, not pertaining to affecting employees. What the employee record is, what the REM arrangement there.
Emily's asking, will this remuneration section incorporate other areas of compensation, for example, vacation and benefits?
Yeah, we're definitely building on this. Once this is cemented, say if we give this about 6 to 8 weeks, and we want to start to add more and more to it. I mean, in general, I'm glad you brought this up. All areas where we feel they are fairly complex and they require an intelligent module to be part of that workflow, such as the remuneration, we want to make sure we implement it in an intelligent way, like what we just did. We took on the biggest one. There will not be an object this complicated. What I mean by objects, when you're doing the REM, when you're doing a request to hire or a change of condition, The REM is the most complicated, but to your point, then the next thing would be benefits and stuff, entitlements, etc. They require a card, etc. We have a plan to do that 100%. To create a library even. So you create a library about what are those benefits that are possible, and then they get presented during the request to hire or change of condition. They get approved, and then later we can even, because they are a proper precise entities as opposed to just a bunch of drop downs and stuff, we're able to better communicate that to different stakeholders. So, for example, if these benefits are a car or a computer, etc., we can let people know, procurement, etc., what requires to be done, and make sure they can indicate once they fulfill that. As a matter of fact, now that I've bought a laptop, I can even scan that lap barcode or something and take a photo of the serial thing on the laptop and attach it against that, so we know which employee has which asset. So it becomes, going forward, more of an asset library or an asset management thing as well. So that's one thing. But also you've got things like the work pattern. So, for example, I want this person to work Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. On Mondays, the night shift. On Tuesday, the different shift, etc. How to indicate that. That's another area that our clients have to build it themselves, or we build it for them using a lot of drop downs and different things. We want to also make it an intelligent field that you just drop on that form and you interact with it. Add another day, add another slot, and just build it, and then it just operates, just works.
Yeah.
So there's a few areas like that that we are on our radar, about 4 in total.
Emily's just added a bit of a, a follow-up. Oh, I believe you may have answered it just in your explanation, but she's saying, is there going to be a section in the awards where we can add this?
In the awards?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it will have to start there.
Awesome.
Why not? Right at the source, and it drags through. Some of it, if it doesn't make sense there, then it's added at the rec form. For sure.
Fantastic. I think that was the last question just around this for the time being. And we had a question just earlier. I don't want us to miss it, from Chris. Chris is asking, in his position library, he has a lot of positions that are the same. He believes they were brought over from his org chart.
Yeah.
Is it safe to go about deleting?
100%. We don't delete any data. As a matter of fact, we created a tool here for you to be able to do that, because we had a few clients had that issue. And we, by the way, just for the rest of the audience, when you're creating a position from here, for a while, we weren't helping you to check or to know that there's a duplicate, there's something similar, but now we do. So that now there's so much less duplication now. It's really pretty much under control, I believe. But nevertheless, because of that, for a while, it was running like that. There was a lot of duplicates. So we've got a tool in here. First of all, if you want to quickly understand your duplicates, what I suggest you do, you change the sorting to name. So, for example, now, if I look for support, and I'm going to see if there's a multiple, support workers, for example, they would be right next to each other. So that's when you want to delete them, you do it that way. And also, as I said, all we do is we flag it in a database not to be used anymore. But any employee that was hired through it and stuff, it will be there. We don't change any history. You don't lose any history. So it's super safe. But nevertheless, I've got even a bulk tool in here. If you click on those 3 dots to import from an Excel, and if the same name exists already, we keep it. And if it doesn't exist, we remove it. So whatever you import will be your unique, pretty much, position. So when you go here, we explain it actually exactly here. So please provide an Excel with that. The following headings. So that's how the import works. And I'm trying to remember, I'm sorry, I need to probably, if you provide, we don't explain it here, and we should, whether, if the position, if let's say you've got 100 already in your position library, and you've provided only 20 in here, if you end up with only 20, or how it works. I'm so sorry. Probably even the question that I'm asking doesn't make sense. Maybe when you look at it yourselves, guys, it's very self-explanatory. But I can come back to everyone about this point, but we certainly built this tool. Clearly, you always need input, it helps, but also because we want to help you with the duplicate issue. So also remove all duplicate positions. That's the one that I wanted to also talk about. So if you click on that, we explain to you how it works. You're about to remove all duplicate positions. This will ensure all position names are unique. Duplicate position will be removed, keeping only the most recently created. So if you have 4 support workers, we keep the last one they created based on the created date, and we remove the others. But again, removing them it means they're not there to be used going forward. But no historic thing will be. They will continue to be there if someone was, let's say, hired with that position, etc. So we built a few things in here to make to help you to create that unique position library. Because if you don't have a unique position library, it's a nightmare. You can't go and link that agreement data with what you have to do it in 5 places, and it's just not good at all. It has to be unique. Does that make sense, guys? So if you want to have a play with that stuff, I'm sorry, the user that talked about the duplicates, please call support, and we can give you a hand with this whole thing anyway.
He said thank you. That's great. With a big smiley face at the end. As well.
Excellent. There was the question that I said I'll come back to you. Guys, if you noticed we've got here for about 6 months now, a dashboard in beta. It's not running in staging. I'll move to production because this is available for you right now. This piece wasn't working in staging. So I've gone to under the employees here, and you've got the dashboard, and you've got the search, the new employee search. Both are still in beta, but both will allow you to dice and slice your data, your employee data, based on all that. This is why in my emails I was saying, guys, your account will fall behind if you're not adopting that REM module. And this is why we're offering it for free, because it really is important. It's a foundational piece, because you'll be able to dice and slice the data based on any of the information, meaning start from the top. Is this a volunteer? I think we already have as part of the POC. This is by any means not complete, but it gives you an idea. I can only search on my employees, and it's super fast. The tech in here, this proof of concept here, which is sort of 40% complete, is really awesome. The latest and greatest tech. You can see the speed is unbelievable. I want to only work with volunteers, etc. So we start with the employees. Then you go, okay, well, do you want to search on positions? Do you want to work based on the employment type, etc.? But we can even go further than that. Every single thing, for example, in the dashboard in here, you want to see your total FTE. It doesn't matter if you've got people doing 2 days a week or 1 day a week. We could even add them up, because that information now is captured properly. It's got integrity to it, as opposed to if you're still right now using a bunch of drop downs and text boxes, we're not going to know any of that. So this is built to be able to dice and slice that data for you from every single angle. If you look at that RAM, what we captured, the how many hours per week, we actually know pretty much what a payroll knows. We'll be able to give you all that information here, your total cost, your total FTE, blah, 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 gender, etc. So that's what's coming. And that's why I really would like everyone ASAP to start to use it. And that's why we're offering it for free, but also we're offering to help you with it. I've got amazing client success team right now led by Lewis, and he can do a call with you and your team. Let's say you will be up and running with it within 2 hours. You set up 2 hours with the right people at your end, and Lewis or one of his people, and just us guiding you what to do. By the end of the 2 hours, you've replaced what you're using right now. You gouge out all these different drop downs and text boxes about salary and final salary and stuff that we've used so far. And we replace them with that one single field called engagement, and it just works because you've already built your positions and you've already built your agreements. And we show you how it flows all the way to the contract, which is I'm about to finish now. I'm going to go back in a minute and say, now that we have the offer locked in, we finalize the offer, which is that 58,000, whatever the salary, and then see how it flows into the contract automatically.
So, Kate, did that kind of answer your question from before, just around the search. Because I know we did have to come back. Yes.
Yeah,
all good.
perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. So what we're going to do now is go back to that job and enter that candidate. And I'm pretty sure we submitted the offer. I can't remember whether we did or not. Oh, that's production. I'm sorry, different server. Okay, we go back here. So that's the staging. Okay. I think it's my internet. I don't know what's going on because everything I'm using is slow at the
It
moment.
looks fine on here though.
Yeah.
It's not lagging on here.
Okay. I get frustrated with technology when it's not fast.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the candidate we were working with. And oh my goodness, it is slow. Something's not right. It's not even loading the whole thing. Just bear with me, guys, for a minute. Sorry.
Which network are you?
I don't know. It's the Telstra to FC something.
You should be right.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Should be good.
Okay. All right. Give us a second, guys. Sorry. I'm just gonna hard refresh this page.
Maybe it's from all your tabs. Computer's slowing down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not any better.
Wouldn't down it.
Same.
Sorry, guys. Just give us 10 seconds. This is the staging site, by the way, as you can see. So that's where we do the testing from, and that's why we didn't release it overnight. The changes, we felt it needed a bit more work. Do we have the developers on the call?
Yes.
Guys, can you see why it would be this slow, or do you think it's on my end? Can you try it yourselves? How, Tristan, Sung, Ben, can you give me some feedback?
Ben says it's okay.
It's okay at your end, Ben?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why? Should I connect from my phone? Is it really the internet? Let's give that a try. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to change the...
Cody reckons it's because you got too many tabs open.
Come
We're
on,
the same
Cody.
page. Someone says it's pretty quick for him as well.
Oh, okay. So that's good news. If it's just the internet, easy. We can solve that problem. Alrighty. Okay. So I'm going to connect from my iPhone, from the, hotspot. Let's see what happens.
I think we lost connection to you. Just could you change?
Yeah. Yeah. This is good now.
Yeah, we can't.
You just have to go back on the stage.
Oh. Forgot about that. How do you do that?
Open the Demio link that I sent you on Slack.
Yeah, I'm going now. I'm going in. It should be still there. I think we're still there. Yeah, we're back.
No.
I have to go on stage or something. No, I think I am.
you
Oh,
gotta
go on stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't put all your microphones in.
Don't choose anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
There he is.
we're back.
You just got to share your screen now.
Oh, okay. Are we back, guys? You can hear us okay?
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my screen again. Because I've changed the internet connection, I forgot that that's going to affect the session with us. So, sorry, guys. I'm sharing again. I think we're back now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So that's now, it was the internet connection, believe it or not. We'll confirm that. Wow, look how fast that is. Oh, my God. Woof. Okay, that's a lot better. So now we were at the offer here. Cool. This is where we selected the final salary. Yep, we did override to 63,500, if you remember, guys. And we talked about the fact that you can approve it submit it without approval or send it for approval. I'm going to submit it without approval now quickly. And so what I want to do now, I'm going to go back and move this person now to staging. Oh my God. To onboarding, start the onboarding. So we finalized the offer. Now we want to generate the offer pack. I'm going to choose which one I did for the this one here. So this is my onboarding pack. If I go into the contract, I'm sure this is the right contract. Yeah, it because I'm using the remuneration in the contract, it also brings the entire object in here in case you want to make any changes, but it's all there in terms of the clarity of it. So if I go right to I'll just go full screen here anyway, and I'll scroll to the back. That's where I've got the salary and everything in here. There. So that's the salary that that's the part-time, if you remember, based on 2 days a week. So if I explain that, so you've got in here two things. I forgot to explain that properly. So we adjusted the FTE salary, as you know, to 63,500, but that was, as you can see in here, 2 days a week, 0.4. So then the calculated remuneration, that's the calculated salary. So we include all the parameters in here, the part-time aspect, but also for our friends at the school, if it's a 40 week in a year, we also calculate that. Everything's calculated in here. If there's days without pay, it gets calculated. This includes all the factors. In this point, it's very straightforward, 0.4 times 63,500. I'm sure the maths, if you do it manually, that's what will be. So that's what that is. And where was it? Sorry. At the bottom. There. So that's the salary, the final salary here. It's all there. I'll just go back. I'm doing zooming stuff. It doesn't make sense. If you're asking, well, how did it get automated in there? That's a very good question, because it's also part of these changes. It's really impressive. I'll show you what I mean. So when you go to doc template, and this is where you're able to update, add tags to your contract, to customize your contract and your document and tweak it. But what I want to show you is that the tags that you can place in the contract are really powerful, because when you look at the remuneration, the engagement field that we talked about, all these tags are available for you. So every part of that object, including the name of the agreement, the name of the job family, the final rate, the final salary, and even with the final salary, you can have 4 decimal places, 2 decimal places, so you can grab the appropriate tag and place it in the contract. The FTE hours, the FTE salary versus the calculated salary, it's all there. Every component can be grabbed separately into the contract. You just click on the tag, it copies it into the buffer, paste it in your Word document, and click on update, upload the new document, and here you go, the changes are done. We did a separate webinar, it's on YouTube, about that. And if you want to really work on this part, as I said, we'll give you a hand as well if you don't know how to do it yourself. So when we remove the bunch of custom fields that you currently are using to capture remuneration information, that will happen. We remove all of them, we drop that one field instead of 10, 15 of them. And we come here to your contracts and we replace the various tags with tags from the REM object, and you're in business. That's it. That's all that's required. And that's why I was confident within 2 hours will be plenty to get all that tidied up with one of our people on the other end on Zoom. Does it make sense? So I can finalize this and send it for approval, etc. But I'm not going to waste time on it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get out of the pack. So that's the pack here that's still in draft. We haven't even sent it anywhere. And I'm going to manually complete it. All right, so the reason I'm doing that, I'm hoping that I can show you the change of condition. But if I fail to do that, please forgive me. It's not going to be any different from what you've seen now anyway. But let's see what happens. Because I've completed the process, in the org chart now, if I go and find that position that was vacant, it should be now all there. And the new employee should already be there. Here you go. That's the employee now, the candidate. Because they completed their pack, they appear in the org chart automatically. And that's something, in a sense, I always like to emphasize when I'm explaining the org chart or selling the org chart, is the fact that it's always up to date. You never, ever have to make a separate effort to update your org chart. It's actually the first thing that gets updated in the entire platform. It's the first thing to know, whether it's a new hire or whether it's a change of condition or whether it's offboarding.
Sorry, just before we move on, we've got a poll up, guys. So just on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to recommend the new Remuneration Awards function to a friend or colleague? So if you guys could drop an answer in there, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, Joe. That's a good point. If you can do that, guys, that would be amazing. It takes a second, please, so we can just get that feedback. It's very important for us.
Got a bit of inception going on your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a question from Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to edit the REM for an employee who were unemployed prior to using Martian Logic?
Yeah, of course. Of course. First of all, you can import the employees. You can import the org chart. And when you do the import, I've done a session also on the import of the org chart. You can bring all the REM information. So that's one way of doing it. Or you can just use the change of condition, which is I'm about to do, to capture the current information against the employee.
Great. Just let us know, Jessica, if that answers your question.
And we can give you a hand if you're not sure. Contact support or Jesse, and Jesse can coordinate one of the tech guys to jump on a call with you.
Jesse's your woman. Perfect. Cool.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to start the change of condition, and hopefully it's going to work because we completed the onboarding pack. And do you remember the effective date? I've made it in the past for this purpose to make sure it doesn't say pending effective date, because that's normally what it does. I'll show you, for example. See, we keep the org chart up to date with no matter where you are. Even this one is just it's pending approval to hire in this vacancy. It tells you it's always keeps up to date. It's always up to date with where you're at. But I was going to see if there's one that shows you the effective date, meaning the recruit process was completed. No, I don't have one here, but nevertheless, this is the reason I did it in the past. Okay, so we'll start the change of condition, and it's given us the opportunity to change the report to. We say, no, that's fine. Keep the report to as it is. It's not a cross-boarding. They're not moving to different teams, still reporting the same person. And we need to select a form. I happen to have more than one. There should only be one. It should be pre-selected. I'll select this one. I can't remember what's in it anyway. Hopefully it'll be okay. And this is part of when I said this is not complete. We're finishing it. Nevertheless, this shows you here the current remuneration for this employee. And this is what was just approved, and they've completed the pack. So that's now the current situation. And it gives you this convenience here in terms of, so it shows you side by side, the current, you can see in bracket here, versus what is it that you want to, the changes you want to make, and that's on the right. When it comes to changes to the RAM, I want to opt to click on this button to start with this and make the edits. So I'll click on the copy, and then I'll go and make the edits. So here's the copy now, there side by side. And now I'm going to go to here and simply do change the 62,000 to 68,000, and I'm going to change the 2 days per week to 0.6, which is 3 days per week. Simple as that. And here it is. And then I can submit this for approval. Amongst other things, this form is highly, highly customizable. Any other information you want to have approved in here will be there. I'll put the effective date. That's one thing that's still mandatory here. I want the effective date to be effective on Monday. And then I can submit this form for approval, or I can submit it without approval. So now it updates the org chart status for this node to say change of condition been approved, and it's the pending, the effective date, which is in 3 days. In saying that, I can now from here start the pack process to send if there's a new contract that needs to sign, etc. I've got a one pack that is of that type, change of condition type, and that will have the appropriate contract in it, etc. And the same thing, it will pre-populate all that information about the RAM unit, and then I can send it back.
Awesome. We've got a question from Emily.
Mhm.
She's asking, will there be a history in the
Of course.
in the employee profile, or
Of course.
of all of these changes with the
Oh yeah.
remuneration?
Oh yeah.
Or is it tied to the requisitions or hiring?
No. It's super important, that point you're asking. Very, very important. Because, even when you think about it, Emily, was it?
Yeah.
When you think about it, Emily, even the same person could be doing multiple positions, not just history, which is very important. Of course, your point is very important, but, equally as important is the same person even doing multiple positions. So when we say someone is on $25,000 a year, well, in which position? It's always linked. This person in this position at this point in time is a blah, or this person, this position 2 years ago was on a blah. So we need to keep track of all of that. It's there, but it's a little funny. It's not as clean on the way we display it as I'd like it to be. It's not my favorite section to show you guys, but I'm going to have to do it clearly. So if we go to the same person that we just onboarded, by the way, here, may as well do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click through into the employee from here, or just find it from the employee database, same thing. And there's a tab in here. I don't even know if you like the word work history. And then you go to position history, and that will show you everything here. Again, that could be displayed a lot better. But now what you have to do is click on this. And that's probably why I was saying I don't like it. I don't know what this is displaying right now. Sorry, give me a second. This is not my favorite page, believe me, but you can see that is every single change of condition, every single, whether you've just imported them, there'll be an entry in here, or you've just onboarded them through the platform, there'll be an entry in here. Then you do another change of condition, there'll be another entry, another change of condition, another entry. We keep all of them. And as you can see, it's this person against this position, and here's really what was approved.
What about rem changes?
Yeah. All of it will be here. As I said, just not displaying it properly here, but believe me, this is what this is for. It will all be displayed there. And we want to, you shouldn't have to click on this to see everything. We want to display a bit more information there. Look, it's not a great page, as you can see. Believe me, it's going to be refurbished very soon.
And she also asked, can we make notes on when in this position history?
Not sure if I understand that. What kind of note? I'm sorry. So you want to leave a note in here against this entry. For example, we've just onboarded this person.
If I wanted to make notes about their entry. Yeah, so it would be.
Notes. Yeah, I think it's a good point. We just haven't heard that before. I'm trying to process it in my head. I'm sure it makes sense. I'm sorry, I just need to think about it a little bit, but it really isn't a major deal if we need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being pretty.
Yeah, sure. The, with this record, we had the onboarding, and then we did a change of conditions. So there should be another entry in here. I'm suspecting it's not there because of the effective date, or maybe because we started a pack and it wasn't completed yet. I really can't remember. But nevertheless, there should be 2 entries in here, one about the original onboarding and one about the change of condition. And each of them will show you everything that was approved during the final offer and what went in the contract and everything.
Cool.
But I mean, of course, you can go back to your packs and see all of that anyway. That was the onboarding pack. That's the change of condition pack when it's, finally sent and signed anyway. And you can go back and see even the contract that was sent or signed or whatever. So you've got that as well. But certainly this is supposed to really capture what was finally approved and all that in there.
We're just running about 11 minutes past 12. So if there's any more questions or anything you want to show?
Yeah, in the also pertaining to the RAM, explained that in the last webinar. That was really good webinar. If you can find it on YouTube pertaining to the org chart. Even from the org chart, to your point, which is, as I said, very good point. If we go back to that same record here, what you can do, you can customize globally the information you want to surface. And what you can do in here, you can say, look, I want on the node itself to display the location, which site, which location, the team, the division, etc. You've got only 3 pieces of information that go on the node. But beyond that, you can choose to put things like, I'll show you, may as well, instead of just talking about it. This is not up to date, this staging site, but give me a sec. I think I should be able to still to do this. Okay, that should do. So if I do that and save the changes, apply changes, what will happen here is, why the more thing not coming up here? Guys, can someone suggest something why I'm not in the more thing here coming up? After I did the info surfacing, all this information there, why wouldn't it be showing the more link, guys? Ben and Dev, guys? So, just give me 1 second. By the way, in the org chart as well, I mean, we're not doing a demo for the org chart, but, you can search. You don't have to navigate like that. Because I don't have a big org chart, I find it easy to navigate. But if I'm looking for this person, I'm just going to look for the date because it's unique, because I've got maybe a few unwise in there. So the search is extremely powerful. That will take you straight to the node that you want, that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for Ben, for example, I go Ben, boom, it's going to focus on that.
Sung's just saying,
Select it.
can you try to cancel this process and see if more pops up?
Okay, I'll cancel the approval process. So it's a bug, Sung, yeah, because of we were displaying the status on the node that hid the more. Yeah, okay, very clever. Thanks, Sung. We'll get this sorted overnight, guys. It's a small little thing. But that's what I was going to explain about how you bring up the information about the RAM and stuff, make it easy to get access to. And you can provide security in terms of who is able to see this information, who can click on the more. Otherwise, when they click on the more, it tells them you don't have the permission to do that. So you can permission it out. Nevertheless, when you click on it, all kind of information, you can have it here beyond what you're able to display on the node, clearly because we're limited with real estate, but also it allows you to provide more sensitive information to be beyond the security in the sense wall in terms of who can access the information. So that's all the RAM that was captured during the onboarding, guys.
Also, if you could just quickly touch on beginning a change of conditions process, just without using the org chart. So with
Yeah.
the employee,
Sure.
just for Amanda, she's not
Sure. So if I go to the employee search here, that's the record that we just created. They are an employee now, as you can see. And then I can then start from here. Say I want to do a change of condition. It's the same thing. It says, oh, do you want to change who they report to? Go, no, it's fine. Sorry, I'll just do it again. Because I was going to explain, if you want to change who they report to, you just tick that and then it becomes editable and you can just select any of the other employees, auto completion. So we're not going to do that. We go next. You select the form, should be only one, but nevertheless, you can have as many as you like. And then business as usual. You can start from scratch or you can copy the existing and then do the edits to it. If there's nothing found on the left because your data wasn't imported, or maybe you've onboarded that person but you're not using the RAM yet, it's fine. You'll start with the you'll start from scratch. The same thing. You just use the these questions and stuff to link which level and final salary, whatever it is. Business as usual. You can just capture whatever you want to capture here, including for the schools, as I said, guys. You know, terms and all that. It's all there. The term only position, so that's under the advanced here for engagement that do not span the whole working year. We changed the language a little. Working weeks for the engagement span, that's 40, say, in your case, guys. Extra working weeks, 1. Leave without pay, 1. All gets calculated. Even the part-time factor, etc., etc., all gets taken into account into the calculated RAM as opposed to the FTE RAM. So when you're looking at this section here, it's all about FTE. And this is the final calculated, and that's why it's not editable. We let you only edit the FTE basis. You know, even if it's someone part-time 1 day a week, when you're making an offer to them, you don't say to them, oh, it's 20 grand a year. Say it's going to be on the basis of 65 or 80 or 100 or 200. That's how they know whether this is competitive enough or not. The calculation, how it ends up being 20 or 30, they can trust they have a calculator, they can do it, or they trust that he can do it. But that's how you have the conversation. So that's why when you're doing the override or final salary is done under the banner of FTE. That's why that whole section is called FTE remuneration details. And then we do the calculated on the fly. We take all these factors into account to show you the calculated. There's about 4 or 5 factors in total.
Very good.
Awesome.
You can see one is tiny, skinny, and one is more fatter on the right. That's all getting sorted. That's why we, some of the things that we knew there's some more work, but the fundamentals are all there. It's very, very solid. But there's so many components to it. It really is a beast. It's been about 3.5 years since we started to actually work on this. 3.5 years. We started building the agreement components and the position library components and how you connect them together and how all that flows through. It started 3.5 years ago. Sorry about that. My phone wasn't on silent. So I hope that you liked it, guys. Any more questions?
And they can reach out to support or myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to Jesse or to support or to myself. You're absolutely welcome. And we can organize a session one-on-one with you, with your team and us.
Yeah, for sure.
And as well, guys, if you are interested in registering for our next webinar, you can just follow the little pop-up in the left corner of your screen. It should be.
This is the last for the year, right, John?
Yeah.
And that's next week on Thursday as well, in 7 days' time. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that'll be the performance review module.
Yeah.
Which is
We want to pick your brain and share with you what we're thinking of doing, the fundamentals anyway, not really details and stuff. especially from the library point of view. It's going to take a lot of architecture, and we have been thinking about it for maybe 3 years as well now, on and off. But nevertheless, performance review, it's not just about the workflow. We can do the workflow. We already can do the workflow. That's not the issue in terms of how you want the workflow to work. The candidate, the employee, completes the form or part of the form, then the manager completes the form, or maybe they do it together. Then once it's done, all the detail of the workflow is really not the big deal, although we would love to touch on that and see what kind of workflow would you adopt. But what's more important is the fundamentals, is that library, the library of that you're assessing people based on. It can't be just arbitrary. Every manager creates a bunch of drop downs and build their own forms. It needs to come from a unique library that touches so many corners of the platform, because it needs to be the same. So everybody's speaking the same language, the same currency.
Very good.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for your time. Please reach out if you have any questions. We really appreciate your time. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Have a great day.
everybody. Thank you.
Cheers.